Hello everybody, welcome back to the Finny Barbar channel. Today I'm going to be ranking every monster and villain in Scooby-Doo Where Are You? Now this is the first Scooby series, so a lot of these monsters and villains are very one-dimensional. Now, I will be picking most of these picks on nostalgia and how their, classicness is used in later iterations like movies and later series. Now link down below is my Twitter and Instagram if you want to go follow that. But without any further ado, let's get into the video. So first off, we have the Ape Man. And he's meh, it's just a man in a gorilla suit, and he's pretty boring, but for the time, I guess it's alright. Next, we have the Black Knight, and obviously the Black Knight is going to be godly. He is used in so many iterations of Scooby-Doo, and he was the first villain they actually ever faced, and that's really interesting to me, that he is still so loved today, and, a really big fan favourite. Next, we have the Caveman, and he's meh, once again. I guess the animation style kind of makes him look really weird, but that was just that era of animation. But I just don't really like Caveman that much, and it's not great. Next, we have Charlie the Funland Robot, another great episode from, the original series. Once again, this character is used throughout so many iterations. Just like the Black Knight and other characters we will get to down later, he is just loved by pretty much every Scooby fan. If you ask them who's Charlie the Funland Robot, they will tell you, and it is very popular and ingrained into Scooby culture. Next, we have the Creeper, and here's another example of one of those characters that is bred into Scooby culture. This guy was there since the beginning, and he still hasn't left. You still see him popping up now and again in different series, like in Scooby Mystery Incorporated, where they actually used his legacy for a fake daughter, which was a great plot in itself, but they were using his legacy. And of course, he is godly, and he just has a really great design, especially for that time. Next, we have your classic vampire, and he's alright, but once again, he's just your classic vampire you have in pretty much every Scooby show, but of course, this is the first one. And speaking of classic villains, we have Frankenstein's monster, and he's alright. Once again, he's your classic character. Once again, this is more of a just generic Frankenstein monster. Later series sort of expand more on it, but with characters in this series itself, they also expand on their own versions. So we'll get to those later. Next, we have the Ghost Clown, and the Ghost Clown is good. He is also very popular. He's very terrifying. He scared me as a kid. His episode was amazing, but I really do like this character. But I do reckon he's good because he doesn't really have that much to do, but he doesn't show up that much because he is considered to be more of the scary side of this series. Next, we have the ghost of Captain Cutler, and he's godly. He is a great character. He looks really great, and once again, he shows up in the Scooby-Doo 2 movie, if you remember that. He's one of the monsters that comes to life, alongside the Creeper, I'm pretty sure, and the Black Knight Ghost definitely does. Now, he's really great, the episode is great, and I like how they have an underwater type ghost, and I think that's really, really cool. Next, we have the ghost of Elias Kingston, and he's alright. I mean, if you actually watch the original intro, he's actually in there, in the intro, giving away some of the episode secrets, but he definitely is cool for a ghost. He has got a blue face, but none of the ghosts in this series are really transparent, except for a couple, but yeah, very, very interesting. Next, we have the Ghost of Mr. Hyde, and that's a really good episode. Obviously, this is Mr. Hyde from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Now, this is Scooby's take on the character of Mr. Hyde, and it really pays off. I like the different aspects of it. Usually, Mr. Hyde is a hunking, massive creature, but this time he's just, skinny, smart, and uses chemicals, which I think is very, very cool. Next, we have the Ghost of Redbeard, another really popular one, but he's good. I mean, he's just your generic pirate ghost, and we will get more across the lines of Scooby-Doo. And he does actually show up in other Scooby medias, especially Ghosts later down. He actually has a direct rip-off of other ghosts. Now we have the Ghost of Zentuo, and he's trash. I've never really been a fan of this guy. He's really off-putting. I don't really like the suit that much, but this is all just objective, and it's not really up to me, but I don't really like it that much. Next, we have the Green Ghosts, and these Green Ghosts are amazing. They are the best in the entire series, and they are truly amazing. Now, you actually do see these everywhere in the Scooby franchise. They're used in toys, books, posters, movies, other shows, everything. They will be everywhere. Another great character that is put into Scooby media. Next, we have a Gypsy, and Once again, just a bit generic, but I do like how they've mixed it up a little bit and gave her a little bit of a green tinge to her skin, which adds just that little extra bit of Scooby passion. Next, we have the Headless Spectre, and I think this is a really godly looking guy. To actually put in a Scooby show from the era without a guy with a head, now that's really takes some guts, especially from the time period. It is very interesting, of course. I do like how he's got more of the, rich desire, more, you know, he's upper class, and I do like that because most headless characters are either horsemen or other things like that that sort of spit to old timey. But this guy seems to be more rich class, and I like that a lot. The next we have the Indian Witch Doctor, and I do like the Indian Witch Doctor. He's from the Scooby Napping episode where he gets kidnapped, and it's pretty good. I watched this one a lot when I was younger. But yeah, I do like the mask. It's very nice, just sort of basic though. But yeah, we'll get to the other Witch Doctor, and you'll see what I think about that one. Next, we have Minor 49er, another really popular episode with another popular villain. He shows up a lot as well, one of those another characters that is just put all throughout Scooby culture, and I really like that. And he definitely has got a very nice tinge to it, and it's definitely, a little bit of a unique monster, considering it is a minor, compared to your generic pirates, and Draculas, and zombies. Next, we move on to another generic monster, the Mummy of Anaka, and it's kind of boring, it's just your generic mummy, but I do like how they chucked in the of Anaka at the end, just to add that little bit of flair and a little bit more dynamic. Next, we have a Phantom, and he's just your generic Phantom, really. This is, the low of the Phantom, but he is definitely your first Scooby ghost, really, and he definitely still shows up heaps in Scooby media, not as much as say the Green Ghosts, but he definitely is very popular for just generic Scooby magazines and books. Next, we have the Phony Phantom, and this is great that they actually did this, giving off just a random vibe of this guy with a sheet over his head, and it is extremely funny and a great look in this design. I really do like this. Go check out this episode because it's really funny, especially from the time period. Next, we have the Puppet Master, and he is critically acclaimed as one of the scariest Scooby monsters ever, for the way he just sort of, sleeks around the back and, snoops on the gang and hangs out in the shadows, and I definitely agree with that. Definitely his costume does also give off that, with the hats and the coats and the long nose, but I do like how they gave him a little bit of a pink tinge on his skin, just to make it a little bit more flair. Next, we have the Snow Ghost, and the Snow Ghost is amazing. Now, this is your generic Yeti or avalanche creature or whatever you want to call it, but I like how they actually gave him fur, because a lot of Yetis are just made out of ice, and I really like how they did this. Now, of course, this is a ghost, not a Yeti, but it is your generic Yeti, so I guess it's your Ghost Yeti. Next, we move on to the Spooky Space Kook, and one of the absolute most famous characters of Scooby ever. His laugh is just recognizable by any Scooby fan, and he is just loved everywhere. You will see him in so many books, movies, TV shows, and a lot of the characters from this show are definitely like that, showing up elsewhere because they are such fan favorites. Next, we move on to the Wax Phantom, and it's really cool. I like the Wax Phantom. Definitely one of the lower sides of the Substance Phantoms, and you'll see as we get to later seasons, such as the Tar Monster, but I do like the Wax Phantom. He's alright, pretty cool. Next we move on to the Werewolf, and I like what they did with the Werewolf. Gave him, more of a unique design than a hairy design. You can still see he does have hair, but he is more green than brown, and I do actually like that little bit of flair, and definitely, mixes it up from the later werewolfy figure we have coming down. Next, we have the other Witch Doctor, and he doesn't really have like a Indian Witch Doctor like this guy. He's just called the Witch Doctor. And I definitely prefer this Witch Doctor to the other one. He definitely has more of a Witch Doctor kind of vibe, and I think he makes it really cool for the show. And he's just really funny, and he's really odd, and he definitely shows up a lot in later media. Next, we have your generic witch. Pretty boring, I guess. There's not much, flair to it. Like the rest of the generic monsters, they haven't really added much to it. It's pretty much just your generic witch. Next, we move on to the Wolfman, your other werewolfy type figure, and I love the Wolfman. They really, cross that werewolf aspect with a lot of Scooby-Doo in it as well. And it's a really great character. He doesn't show up much in the episode he's in, but he does show up later down the line, especially in Scooby-Doo magazines where they use these characters as genetic cutouts. And finally, we have the zombie. And the zombie's alright, but once again, they've just, gave him that more Scooby-Doo flair, and he's very dopey throughout the episode. And I think that's very interesting. So that's my ranking of all the monsters in Scooby-Doo Where Are You? So make sure you like the video, subscribe, and let me know what Scooby series you'd like to see me do next. I definitely have heaps planned coming soon. So, thanks for watching. Bye!